one more thing that we're doing there. So you see the slide right there on our screen. There's no better time to get involved in MPI than right now. Getting involved on a committee as a chair or just a committee member, you get to work with all the great leaders that we have. We have a fantastic group of board of directors. I see kids popping in. Our board of directors is incredible. They are doing a lot of really great work
yeah, I just
in
saw
a
it
very
now. It's
challenging
just
year. In a
just a
very
different time
challenging
now,
year.
Evan.
If you can mute your phones, mute your microphones. Thank you. In a very challenging year, they are thriving and they are doing great things. All these meetings that you've seen over the last 4 or 5 months are the result of their hard work. So we'd love for you to step in, bring some ideas, bring just your body to help an extra pair of hands get things done. We'd love to have you with us. It's very rewarding. Likewise, another volunteer opportunity, our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. We're still forming that. You've probably seen the advertisement in a couple of the different e-news or emails and social posts. You've probably seen all that. We're putting together a committee to help advise the leadership what we're doing, what's working, what's not working, what we could be doing better. It's an important topic in today's world, and not just the racial aspect of it, but there are many aspects of it that we want to make sure we're keeping our eyes on. So we'd love to have some more people volunteer for that, and if that's something that you're interested in, if you're passionate about it, we would love to have you reach out to us. Any of the leadership can help you connect with that. So with that, I mentioned some of our great leaders that we have. I'd like to introduce you to one of them now, our VP of Professional Development, Rachel Cohn.
Thank you, Spencer. I appreciate it. So I just want to bring to your attention 3 upcoming events. So the first one is on October 8th, and this is a really exciting opportunity for all of the MPI chapters in the state of California to gather together and create this first ever partnership that we're doing. And so it will give you an insider's view of how the event and hospitality industry is moving forward, specifically in the state of California. So be on the lookout for that event. We're going to be advertising it very soon. So just to give you a sneak peek into the agenda for that particular day, October 8th, we're going to have a DJ who's going to be kicking us off for the event. Paul Vandeventer, who is the head of MPI Global, will be giving our welcome remarks. Our keynote is actually going to be a really dynamic panel of DMOs. So Julie Coker, who is the Executive Director of the San Diego Tourism Authority, is also on that panel, and some of her colleagues on the state of California will also be on that panel. So that'll be a great chance for us to hear really what's going on up and down the coast as we move events forward. We've got some great breakouts in the afternoon that are going to be duplicated, so you'll have a chance to pop into as many of the breakouts as you want. One of the breakouts is going to be on professional development. That's moderated by an HR expert. We are going to do a breakout on diversity and inclusion, one on digital event strategy, one on sustainability, food and beverage, and then one on contracts and legalese. So a lot of good information there. And then we'll have some sort of dance party to be determined for you afterwards. So mark your calendar now, October 8th. The next event that I wanted to talk to you about is EdCon. So this is a partnership that our chapter in San Diego has with the chapter specifically in Orange County. And we partner with them every year to put on a conference. This year, it's going to be a 3/4-ish day conference, and it is on November 18th. The theme is resilience, and so we'll have some virtual morning activities, a virtual expo. There'll be the opportunity to book hosted buyer appointments, a speaker and a keynote, most of which the topics will be around resilience, and then a virtual happy hour. So that's something also to look forward to, November 18th. And third is WEC. It is the World Education Conference. And Michael Dominguez is going to be speaking about that right now to tell you a little bit about what that's about.
Hi, I'm Michael Dominguez, part of the MPI family. I'm excited to be here at the beautiful Gaylord Texan, where WEC will be taking place in just a couple of months this November. Know that face-to-face meetings are happening all over the country right now. And MPI is hard at work to make sure we can create a safe environment following all protocols necessary to make sure that you have that experience you need as a community and we can do it safely. If you're ready to meet and you want to meet, MPI is ready for you. You should be here in November. If you can't join us in November or not ready to join us in November, realize that there is an enhanced digital experience that's waiting for you that MPI is putting together to make sure that you can share in the community and share in the experience, even if you can't be here in person. Realize I will be here in person. I'm excited to see many of you, and I hope to see you here in November.
Is Peggy there? Peggy, are you there?
Can you hear me now?
Now we can.
Yes.
Go ahead, Peggy.
Hi, everybody. I'm Peggy Jewell. I'm your Director of Strategic Alliance. I am also, when our world gets back to a little bit of normalcy, I will be the executive producer at an agency in Orange County called West End Entertainment. So I'm looking forward to my life coming back. But right now I'm unemployed, and I'm very grateful for MPI San Diego. All of the things that they've had in line up to this point, WEC, EdCon has been a saving grace for my sanity. So I'm super excited. I wanted to spotlight our amazing Rockstar Bingo host from our Unplugged a couple of weeks ago. If you've been around for a little bit, I bet many of you have booked Marvelous Mark before. He's an amazing DJ, he's an awesome host, and he does fun games like Rockstar Bingo. So I hope you were able to join us a couple of weeks ago. And now I would like to turn it over to Lisa Kelly, CMP. Lisa's with the San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce, and she is our Director of Education and Programs.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that intro, Peggy. We are so excited to have y'all joining us. It's my privilege and honor to welcome Sara. And we're also going to be joined by Craig, who is on our professional development team. If you don't know Craig, you got to get to know him because he's the reason we're having Sara join us today. Craig is so great at networking and building those relationships. And so we're excited to have him moderating with questions today. So I do want to encourage, if anyone has questions throughout the program, please go ahead and enter those into the chat. Craig will also be monitoring that and making sure that Sara gets those. But a little bit about Craig, if you don't know him, he's got 35 years of hotel experience, plus 5 years as a founder of a software startup. He's got experience as the GM at the Hotel Del, VP at the Preferred Hotel Group, and he's lived in San Diego for 20 years. He's an avid reader, hiker, and traveler. And he told me his favorite new TV show is What We Do in the Shadows. So something to talk about with him next time you see him. And then about our fabulous speaker, Sara Harvey. Sara brings decades of progressively expanding leadership at American Airlines and 7 years of C-suite experience at Dr. Deepak Chopra's Center for Health and Wellbeing up in Carlsbad. Sara has refined her talent and passion for effective business leadership. She's a student, coach, and instructor in the practice of self-awareness, emotional intelligence, conscious communication, and authentic leadership. Sara is certified to teach meditation and mind-body health using curriculum developed and systemized by Dr. Chopra. She's presented some of this content to thousands of people at the Chopra Center events, and as well as with major companies such as the LA Lakers and Merrill Lynch. So we're so excited to have that same great content brought to us today. She's also, in combination with her Gallup Clifton Strengths certification, she also teaches and coaches business leaders in productively applying their unique talents to achieve meaningful results in both personal and professional lives. She's bringing her experience from leading the team at the Chopra Center and creating a culture that thrives through understanding their greatest core strengths and confidently using those strengths to execute at their highest levels. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Sara. Again, I encourage you to think of those questions, enter them in the chat, and she'll be sure and get to those as we go through. Thanks for joining us, Sara.
Thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate that nice introduction. And hello to all the beautiful MPI members. It looks like we have a lot of women, huh? I mean, maybe all women, almost all women. Spencer, I know you're on the call too, but a lot of women, which is fantastic. I love working with a female crowd. I think Lisa did a great job introducing me. Half of my career at American Airlines on the front lines, as well as in leadership. The other half working for Dr. Deepak Chopra in the C-suite for 7 years, running his wellness center at Amula Costa up in Carlsbad. And 2 years now running my own organization that I call INNERTelligence, and where I do all my coaching, team training, speaking, and everything that I do is rooted in strengths, in meditation, mindfulness, and mind-body health. So that's a little bit about me. So I'm going to share my screen right now because I have a PowerPoint to share with you. All right. As a part of this presentation, which is called Harnessing Your INNERTelligence, an inside-out strategy to managing your life, we're going to use a worksheet. So just make sure you either have it printed so you can write on it, or it's an editable PDF. So if you prefer to type it in, if you're one of those paperless people, then you can just type it in on the computer and have it accessible. I also want to encourage you to have available just a piece of plain paper with a pen. We're going to have a little exercise that we do. And you can also use the back side of your worksheet if you need to, just to make it easy. My intention and my hope for all of you at the end of this presentation is that you feel a deep sense of appreciation for what you've got naturally inside of you that's in service to your highest and best self. I really want you to begin to realize that there's a lot inside of you that can be harnessed and activated in service to resilience and well-being. And we know we all need that at this given time and in this crazy year. Lisa mentioned typing in the chat box. Even if you don't have a question, but you have a contribution or a comment, please go into the chat as well. That would be great. And Craig's going to monitor that for me and kind of keep me abreast of what you're sharing. This is an interactive experience, so I will come off my PowerPoint at certain times while we're filling out our workshop, and I will look to you to contribute what it is that are your answers to the questions I'm going to ask, and how it is that you're harnessing your INNERTelligence. So the more interaction we have with each other, the better and richer this session will be. All right, so let's get started. We all know that this year is crazy and tough. To me, sometimes it feels like a witch's cauldron, where it's like one part riot, one part virus, one part, protest, another part divisive election communication. It's really, really madness. It's kind of like a what in the world kind of year. So what I know is that we're all experiencing a wide range of emotions, and that those emotions shift sometimes hourly or daily, but we go up and down through this whole process. It's a lot. It's a lot to manage. If you're a parent like me, 2 teenagers that are homeschooling, working full time. So more than ever, we have plenty to manage. And it's the reason our INNERTelligence is more important than ever before. So what I want to know is, how are all of you feeling? What space are you in? So we're going to launch a poll, okay? And the poll is going to ask the question, which of the following most accurately describes how you feel right now, today, on this call, about the world around you? So exhausted, I'm wiped out. Anxious, I'm feeling a little nervous and kind of, shaky about things. It's irritating me, I'm feeling frustrated. You know what, I feel hopeful. I'm actually in this space where I believe we're coming out of this and I feel good, and I'm moving ahead, I got my eyes forward. Or you know what, I'm at peace. Like I'm accepting what is, and knowing that this too shall change, and I'm at peace. So I'm going to invite you to contribute to this poll, and let's just see how the group is feeling. So we're ready to launch. Erin, if you want to launch that poll for us.
So we're launched, and it looks like we've had 75% response. We'll give it another couple seconds if you haven't had a chance, and I'll put the results up.
Okay, so interesting, right? We've got 25% of the people exhausted. Most people, 38%, anxious, no surprise. 13% are irritated with this whole thing. 17% hopeful, and 8% peaceful. Wow. Wow. That's a wide range of emotions. We're like a little microcosm of the macrocosm. So what's happening here on this call is also the same thing that's happening out in the world. So what I want to do is encourage you to be compassionate, to be kind, to make room for everyone's emotions, and to acknowledge that how you feel today might not be how you feel tomorrow. And just to let that be okay. All right, I think I put myself in I fluctuate a lot, but I'm going to put myself in the hopeful category right now. But what I hope to do is, especially for those of you who are feeling exhausted, anxious or irritated, I really want to give you guys some tools today that will help you to kind of ground and center yourself and really manage through this very difficult time with a little more grace and ease, a little more power and edge. Here's what we know. We're living in radically changing, tumultuous times with a high degree of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity in leadership circles is known as VUCA. VUCA. And VUCA can ignite the stress response if we perceive it as a threat, if we perceive it as something harmful, something that we need to be wary of. So when you perceive external events as a threat, as harmful, you're gonna experience stress in your mind, stress in your body, stress in your emotions. On all levels, you're gonna experience that stress. And that stress is gonna take you into fight, flight, or freeze. It's gonna take you into fight, flight, or freeze. Our bodies and our minds are not meant to be in this state of stress for long periods of time. It's what we call emergency mode. All your systems are dialed up extra high to protect, to kind of armor you up, because you perceive the VUCA as a threat or something harmful. So the stress response shows up in the mind and the body and the emotions. It shows up in the spirit as well, to be honest with you. Okay? And in the mind, what we see is some of the emotions that we talked about in our poll. We see anxiety, irritation, grief. People are feeling grief, frustration, depression, loss, fear, overwhelm. That's just to mention a few. There's 50, 100 different emotions that we're all feeling at any given time. It's a sampling of what can be going on in our mind when the stress response is active and we're in fight, flight, or freeze. In the body, our heart rate begins to race. We experience inflammation. Our breath quickens and shallows. We find ourselves with less energy. Our stress hormones, adrenaline, cortisol, start pulsing through our body. Our sleep patterns get disrupted. We're up in the middle of the night ruminating about things. We start experiencing aches in our bodies, aches in our minds, headaches, body aches. And when that stress response becomes chronic, meaning long-term, you become at risk. You become at risk for disease, getting sick. You become at risk for virus, for cancer, for autoimmune diseases, for diabetes, because your body is in hyper mode. And it's not meant to be in that mode all the time. Now, what we need to know about stress is that it has to be managed internally and externally. We're pretty good about managing the stress externally. We know when we're going through a lot of changes at work, okay, we need to change maybe from working in an office to working at home. Oh, now I've got some new priorities and new responsibilities because of all the uncertainty out there, all the volatility. You know, I'm pulling in my network, all the people I know to help me process through this change, adapting to new technologies. I'm now like a Zoom expert. So we're pretty good at that. That's just a normal part of business. But that's not enough. We also have to manage the internal stress that's going on inside of our mind, our bodies, our emotions, and our spirit. Okay? When we ignore that, and quite often we do, then there's a progression that takes place in our minds and our bodies until we stop ignoring it. So here's what happens. The body starts with a whisper, a little tap, and it says, hey, something's a little out of balance. I'm just feeling a little off. You know, like I have a little headache or my little back hurts. I'm just a little overheated. But our tendency as busy professionals is to slough it off. I'm too busy for that. I don't have time for that. I've got way too much going on, way too many responsibilities. And we keep on going, living our lives the same way, doing the same things we've always done. And so the body amps it up, talks a little louder, gives us a whack on the arm. And we say, ow, wow, that hurts. That hurts. And we go to the doctor and we get a pill, we get an Ambien, we get whatever we need to resolve the symptom on the outside. But we keep on living our lives the same way and making the same choices and the same decisions. So we're solving the problem at the symptom level, not at the root level. And if we keep on doing that, eventually the body screams and it, bam, sucker punches us. And that sucker punch translates to illness, disease. You move beyond an imbalance into a problem that takes a lot longer to solve. So our responsibility in this VUCA world is to manage our stress internally and externally. It's our job, it's our responsibility. We can't depend on somebody else for that. We need to build it in to our day. We need to build it into our schedule. Your INNERTelligence, as I like to call it, gives you the opportunity to experience tumultuous times and radical change differently by tapping into the wisdom that you have within you. Imagine if you were able to optimize all your biological systems, harness your talents, tap into all the internal resources that you have available to you 24/7, completely for free. You were able to tap into those and bring those forward in service to your resilience and well-being. Wow, what would that look like? What would that feel like in your mind and your body? because these intelligence systems are available to you every day, all day long. And they need and deserve your attention. So here's a slide. Here's a busy slide that looks at some of the aspects of self that I call your INNERTelligence. There's all sorts of parts of your mind and your body that are INNERTelligent. Take your thoughts, for example. When well managed, they're the spark that generates your results. Your voice is your contribution to the world to express what's important to you. The silence that exists within you is your source of creativity, of intuition, of inner knowingness. Your gut is your source of instinct. And when your mind is managed, you can trust your gut. All these systems work in tandem. Even the ego is a source of INNERTelligence. Needs to be managed, but when there is really a threat, we're glad we had it. Your biological systems all working to keep you healthy and alive. Your 5 senses, there to help you determine what to let in and what not to let in. All of these things are available and in service to you. But awareness is not enough. Awareness is not enough. Awareness is the intellectual knowledge. We have to take it to the next level. So we need to begin to put attention on our INNERTelligence. We need to attend to it. We need to activate it. So let's do something with it. And then we need to apply it in our life so we get the benefit out of it. I almost liken it to awareness is like getting the key to your car. Oh yeah, I got a tool here. Looks like it's going to be something good. Attention is putting the key into the ignition. Okay, this is where this goes, right? This is something that can turn. Activation is turning your car on, turning your INNERTelligence on. And application is actually driving to your favorite destination. So you've got to bring it to this level all the way through. All right, so let me stop for a minute and just want to look in the chat. Craig, anything we need to cover?
Yeah, there's a question from Kim who's asking, where do you start if you're stuck?
Excellent question. And you're lucky because the personal practice number 1 is the best place to start. All right, because the king of all your INNERTelligence is your mind. So let's do this. Kim, I'm going to see if I answer your question as we walk through these 4 personal practices. If I don't, I'm going to ask you to bring it back up, okay, in the end of the presentation. Anything else, Craig?
No, that's it for now.
Okay. All right. So right now I'm going to ask you to get your worksheet out. All right. Just have it available either electronically or in hard copy and your pen. And as I said, it's not enough to just know that we have these INNERTelligence systems inside of us and resources. We need to know how to bring them to life. So that's really where they become meaningful to us. All right, so let's look at these 4 personal practices that will help you to harness your INNERTelligence. So the first one is manage your mind. Okay, manage your mind. Your mind is your source of INNERTelligence. It can either be your worst enemy or your greatest evolutionary force. We're the author of our own lives. And our minds are making meaning of everything. So we as humans are meaning-making machines. Meaning-making machines. That's what our mind does. We are who we are because of the meaning we make from the experiences we have. And the meaning we make turns into the stories that we tell ourselves. Sometimes those stories are true and empowering, and sometimes they're not. And they're exactly what keeps us small and causes us to have more stress. It's only when you start to think about what you think about that you can start to think differently. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to think about what you think about with the opportunity to think differently. Okay, what you want to do is bring awareness to your thoughts. Pay attention to the stories that you're telling yourself so that you can choose the thoughts that you want to have that get you where you want to go moment to moment. Make the decision to choose the thoughts that empower you and carry you forward. If not, your mind is going to manage you. Okay? And your stories are going to short circuit your magnificence. So let's look at this big slide with a lot of content on it. Okay? This is going to tell you why it's important to manage your mind. So out here, we've got experiences, circumstances, and sensations. Okay, so what experiences are we having? Well, VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, ambiguity, complexity, VUCA. Okay, that's what's going on outside of us in our external world. When that's happening, right, we're getting a sensation in our body. We're getting a knot in our throat, tightness in our stomach. Okay, we're feeling it, we're sweating. Those sensations in the body are sending a message to the mind, and you're having a thought. Okay, this is not good. I don't like this environment. This is out of my control. This doesn't feel good. Those thoughts are going to generate some feelings. And those feelings, depending on your thoughts, will either be pleasant or unpleasant. How you feel about something will generate your mindset. And that mindset is either going to be fixed or growth, taking you where you want to go. The mindset that you hold on to will determine your choices. And depending all the way back on your thoughts, those choices are either going to be strengths-based or fear-based. Your choices are going to lead to the actions you take. Those actions will either be purposely aligned for your greater good and where you want to go, or they'll be fear-based and self-serving. Those actions will translate into your habits. When you repeat actions again and again and again, they become your habits. And those habits will either be performance enhancing or performance minimizing. And those habits are going to translate into your results, which will either be continuous improvement, creating joy, movement, momentum, and evolution in your life, or status quo and decline. And you'll experience fear, inertia, stagnation, and devolution. To put this slide in just a few words, your thoughts determine your results. That's why it's critically important to manage your mind, especially when there's a lot of VUCA going on. So, turning to your worksheet, here's a question for you. I want you to complete this question. What story are you repeatedly telling yourself that's stress-inducing or inhibiting the results you want for yourself? So short, take 60 seconds. What story are you telling yourself repeatedly that's stress-inducing or inhibiting the results you want? Write it down on your worksheet, okay? Could be that you're saying, you know what, the madness in this world is never going to end. I give up. Maybe you're afraid for your job. Ugh, if I lose my job, I won't be able to pay my rent. You know, maybe you're stressed out about the fact that you have to be a teacher to your children and do your job. What is it? What are you ruminating about at night, in the middle of the night when you can't sleep? Usually that's a story that's not helping you. Okay, so write that down. And when you get that story clear and you've got it on paper, I invite you and challenge you to answer this question in the same section. So what would you tell yourself instead? If you were committed to growth, continuous improvement, and getting the results you really want, you would definitely tell a different story. And you're empowered to change your thoughts, just like that, moment to moment. Moment to moment, you can change your thoughts. Okay, so what would you tell yourself instead? To help you think about this, ask yourself, what's possible for me? What's the best that could happen to me? What's the best I can create? Move out of what's the worst that can happen into what's the best that can happen. It's from that place that you want to generate your results. Okay, so I'd love to take a quick share at this point. For anybody who's willing to come off mute and tell us what story they might be telling themselves right now, and what would it look like if you shifted out of that story? Peggy. I'm not hearing you.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Can you hear me now? So I'm an entertainment agent. I've been doing it for 25 years. I am close to 60. I know I don't look like it. No, I totally look like it.
No, you don't.
In all of this, there's been so many positive things, but the story that does go through my head a lot, and it was creeping in before COVID, is that I am getting to an age where, am I still relevant? Am I still good at what I do? Mm. And now that we've had this big break, and I probably won't work until next year, am I hireable? I mean, should I still be doing this?
Mm. That sends you down a rabbit hole, doesn't it?
Sometimes, yeah. But cookies help with that.
Oh, sounds like a passion.
No, I'm kidding.
So what storyline would shift you in that thought pattern? If you wanted to shift out of that, oh my God, like, is anyone going to hire me? Like, are they going to think I'm old? Like, will they think I'm relevant? Like, what do you bring? What do you bring?
One of the things I've learned from being in the hospitality industry, and I do it for myself personally, I do a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats on my profession, on me personally. Mm-hmm. And when I do that, what I realize and can authentically tell myself is that I am someone who has always been very curious. I'm not very ego-driven, so I take in critical analysis from other people, and I work hard at staying relevant. I have people, the generation behind me in my life and the generation ahead of me, and I love listening to people. So I'm a good gatherer of information, which supports what I do for a living.
Mm. Okay, so I heard the fact that you know what your talents are, and you know that they're valuable, and you've become quite good at those talents because you have a deep level of experience. That storyline is going to get you an amazing job, right? So it's just that shift. It's that easy, right? So what's a good idea is to write that down. Write that down in 1 or 2 sentences. Put it up on your bathroom mirror. Put it up on your refrigerator. Make it visible. Speak it out loud.
Yeah.
Make it a part of a morning affirmation.
Yeah.
And watch it come to life.
Yeah.
Yeah, total shift. I like, there's even like a shift in your face, right? When you were first talking about, gosh, you know, am I relevant and this and that, right? And it was kind of like bummed, right? And now there's brightness in your face, a smile's coming on your face. So that's the power of a shift in thoughts. Super easy.
I think for those of us who have been, you know, there's burdens for those who have kept their jobs. They're working harder than they've ever worked before. And there's burdens for those of us that have been laid off. And one of those, at least for me, is the saboteur is very loud over these last 6 months.
Yes. Does anybody else experiencing what Peggy's experiencing, or is she all alone?
No, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people raising their hands right now. Yeah, we're all going through it. We might have our unique lens on it, depending on what's going on in our life, but we're there with you. Yeah, thumbs up. Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
guys
you.
Give a thumbs up. Great, great share, Peggy. Let's take one more. Let's take one more.
I'd actually like to share because I'm like very similar to Peggy, but in the very opposite. And I don't want to like age you, Peggy, or anything. I'm so sorry. So I actually have the opposite, where I'm actually looking to go into entertainment. And what you do, Peggy, I'm about to finish my master's at San Diego State, and I'm feeling like, and I have actually kept my job throughout this, but I'm basically doing 2 jobs right now. And it is that opposite of what Peggy was talking about, those who have kept. I'm very, very lucky that I did, but I'm kind of being pulled in between 2 departments right now. And I also feel like my job is not challenging anymore. And it's not, so I'm being pulled in 2 different directions of departments that don't, it was a great post-grad job, but I think I've learned what I need to learn. And if it were not for COVID, I think I would have already been out of there. So now just like looking at the job market, it's really scary. And I want to get out there and in the entertainment and everything like that, because that's something I'm interested in doing. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling, is opposite to Peggy, but also very similar to Peggy.
Yeah, so interesting. I see a collaboration opportunity to be in support of one another. We're not alone. We're in this together. So I see that opportunity popping up right away. I love that. I see that, you know, let me ask you this. So in changing that story, that fear-based story, right? I'm pulled in so many directions. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do what I'm doing now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the job I want to get. The market is not great. Like, what is your shift out of that story?
I think just every day I try and tell myself that this isn't it. I would say, like, because every day I think to myself, like, is this all I'm ever gonna get to? Which is like really, I feel like sad to talk about, and I don't want to bring the mood down of the group. But I think just telling myself that I have years ahead to move up, if that makes sense, and I just have to keep telling myself that.
Kimberly, I'm 56 years old, right? So I'm, you know, I get some of what Peggy feels. I get that too, right? Am I relevant? So I'm 56 years old. And what I will tell you, and I think anybody that's over, I don't know, 40 maybe, knows that what you're experiencing today is not going to be what you're experiencing next year. It's just a guarantee. Guarantee. What I was doing last year has nothing to do with what's going on this year. And what's going on this year is not going to have anything to do with what's going on next year. So be in that place, right, of allowing, right, stay engaged, but detached from the outcome, right? This too shall pass. I promise, this too shall pass.
Thank you.
And in that mindset, you can just be, right? Just be where you are right now and be magnificent right here, right now. And for you, that's enough right now.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
And thank you, everyone. I feel supported. Thank you.
Yes, yes, we love you. We love you. All right, let's continue on.
Do you want to take a question, or do you want to keep going?
Yes, I do if there's a question. Absolutely.
Lisa wants to know, what are some strategies for taking control of your thoughts or mindset when all of the external inputs we're receiving seem outside of our control?
So, that's a good question, because I think we're all struggling with that, right? Because, you know, the question becomes, what are you letting in? Okay. And think about it from the perspective of your 5 senses. What are you letting in? What's coming in through your eyes? Is it just a scrolling of social media garbage every day, all day long? You know, is it news that you're watching on TV? Is that what you're letting into your eyes? Because if you are, your mind is going to go nuts. Okay. You know, what are you letting in through your mouth? What are you letting in in the form of food, in the form of beverage? What are you listening to? Are you listening to divisive, ugly conversations? Or are you listening to beautiful music and loving conversations? Your choice. Your choice. That's what you get to take control of. So decide what you're going to let in through your 5 senses. Okay, what's coming in through your skin? Are you nurturing your skin? You know, maybe we can go to the spa, maybe we can't right now. You can always do a little self-massage, right? Always. So you're never stuck. You're never really stuck. But I would say to manage your mind, think about what you're letting in through your 5 senses and be very discerning about that. Okay, good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, let's move on to number 2. Let your body lead. Your body is a source of INNERTelligence. It's a microcosm of the macrocosm. So right now I want to invite you to consider what's going on inside you, physically, energetically, emotionally, spiritually, what's going on inside your body. And notice if what's going on in there is a reflection of what's going on out there. We know that there's a VUCA in the outside world. Is there VUCA inside you too? Is there a lot of volatility inside you? Maybe. Okay, there's a great saying in one of the ancient texts from India called the Upanishads. And this little saying says, as is the human body, so is the cosmic body. As is the human mind, so is the cosmic mind. It's saying that we are a reflection of what's out there. What's in here is also out there. So we have a calling to take care of our bodies. We have a calling to nurture and optimize our INNERTelligence in our body so that we can be at our best. Interestingly, right, of our body mass, including from our tip of our head to the bottom of our toes, right, about 15% of us is neck up. Like neck up, 15% of our whole body mass. 85% is neck down. So there's a lot going on below the neck. But 85% of our attention is spent on what's happening above the shoulders. It's the emotions, it's the mind, it's the spin that's going on. That's where most of our attention goes. The question becomes, what INNERTelligence could you tap into if you put more attention on what's happening below the shoulders? Think about all the systems that are accessible to you to strengthen you, to build resilience, to support your well-being. The body is always going to send you a message when it's not quite right, when it's feeling a little off, out of balance. It sends you a message. Some of the more obvious ones, when you're hungry, your stomach growls. When you eat too much spicy food, you get a little acid reflux. When you get too much sun, the skin turns red and it gets hot. It's what you do with that messaging that really matters. Your body, when it taps on you, is asking for your support. It's asking to be rebalanced. That's under your control. That's your responsibility. Now, let's think of the breath a little bit. I love to talk about the breath. The breath is a beautiful tool to move into your body because the breath is the bridge between the mind and the body. The breath can move you out of your mind and into your body. The breath can energize the mind and calm the body, the breath can energize the body and calm the mind. It's just that powerful. And yet when we get stressed, what we find is that the breath constricts. It gets quick and shallow. So we need to step in and deepen our breath so that it can re-regulate. The breath can come back to that place of homeostasis, of stability for us. That's under our control. By changing the rate, pace, and depth of your breath, you're activating the INNERTelligence of the breath. So very, very powerful. I let my body lead personally every morning by getting into plank. Plank is the push-up position. And while holding that plank for a few minutes, my affirmation is, may love emanate from my words, may health emanate from my heart, and may I trust my gut. So may love emanate from my words, may health emanate from my heart, and may I trust my gut. Just those 3 affirmations bring me into my body and acknowledge that my body is working for me. Sometimes it needs my love and attention. So your question for your worksheet is, what parts of your body are you committed to paying more attention to? Pick 1, pick 2, pick 3. What parts of your body are calling to you for more attention? So just write that down. Write it down. Might be your gut. Might be your heart. Maybe it's your digestive system. Maybe it's your structure, your muscles. What part of you needs and deserves your attention right now? And with that in mind, what specific actions will you take to support your body in being a powerful resource for you? You know it needs attention, and attention is not enough. So what actions will you take to support your body in being the powerful resource you need in your life right now? Maybe you'll get better sleep. Maybe you'll commit to daily exercise. Maybe you'll improve your eating habits, meditate every day. Maybe you'll become a better listener to your body. Okay. All right, let's take a couple shares. Let your body lead. Who's committed to being in their body? Come off mute and just let us know. What's your commitment?
It's Craig. I've tried meditating periodically in the past, and I find that I don't always have the discipline to do it consistently. Is there any, I mean, do you need to get some sort of like structured professional, guidance for it, or can you just sort of still your mind for 10 or 15 minutes a day and that'll make a difference?
Sometimes when meditation is hard, I like to focus on mindfulness. So mindfulness is being present. The difference is mindfulness is being present. Meditation is experiencing presence. So being present is sometimes you look down at your feet. You're right here, right now. Look down at your feet. I'm right here, right now. This is all that matters. I'm nowhere else. I'm right here. That alone is mindfulness. The breath brings you into mindfulness. So don't let meditation be a struggle for you. Begin with mindfulness. Then what you might find is meditation's a little easier. Okay?
Thanks.
Okay. One more share? Should I call on someone?
Sure, I'll go ahead.
Nice.
This is Kristen.
Kristen.
I was going to say, through all of this, my husband and I have just been gifted Apple Watches. And if anyone knows Apple Watches, there's the rings on it. of standing and moving and exercise. And we've done a pretty good job. We kind of take it month by month, but we kind of commit to every day at least doing 30 minutes of some kind of moving exercise. And what's that resulted in is either my husband picking up cycling again, which he really loves and is great for him, and we're working from home, so he can take off for lunch, or just in the evening, we'll go for a 30-40 minute walk. And I've really found that I've started cherishing that time because we're out of the house and it's just us away from our teenagers. And even if we don't talk, even though I tend to chatter the whole time, but even if it's just us walking, I found that it's a great way to end our day and kind of regroup. And we've had some great conversations as well. So that's something we've picked up through this as just time away to just deal with all the stresses of everything.
I love that. I love that. My partner and I are doing a lot of walking too at night, and I'm finding it to be refreshing and actually bonding for the two of us. So I'm right there with you on that. I really appreciate that. I like that. Thanks, Kristen. Okay, then let's keep going. Let's go on to number 3. Do more of what you do best. Your natural talents are a source of INNERTelligence. They hold the potential for your success. So we're going to do a quick exercise here on a blank piece of paper. Okay? Draw a line right down the middle of a blank piece of paper. You can turn your worksheet over. Draw a line right down the middle. Okay? On the right-hand side of the page, I want you to write this sentence. I use my strengths every day. On the right-hand side of the page, I use my strengths every day. Just write it. Should take you 30 seconds. One under the other. Okay, right? Everyone's got that. That's pretty easy. Now, on the left-hand side of the page, I want you to write, I use my strengths every day with your non-dominant hand. If you're right-handed, put the pen in your left hand and write, I use my strengths every day, 3 times. I give you an extra 30 seconds on this one because it's a little tougher with the non-dominant hand. I use my strengths every day. Okay, hopefully you're wrapping up. What did you uncover about that exercise? What'd you notice? Carrie,
It was uncomfortable.
It was uncomfortable, right? With the non-dominant hand.
It was hard.
Yeah.
It takes more concentration.
Way more concentration.
I'm still not done.
Oh my gosh, right? Ah, yes.
Forever.
It's a struggle. It's a struggle. Probably doesn't look as neat, does it?
No.
A little more messy. Yeah. When you did it on your dominant hand, it was like neat and easy. You didn't even think about it. You just wrote it. Yeah, check, done, got that. Well, your dominant hand is the equivalent of using your talents. Okay? When you're not working from your talents, when you're working in your weaknesses, it's the equivalent of writing with your non-dominant hand. When you're tapping your talents and turning them into strengths, you're experiencing ease, flow, satisfaction. It feels natural to you. That's the beautiful thing. And we want to work from our talents because that's what we're made to do. That's what we're naturally good at. So here's your question. What activities do you pick up quickly and what brings you the greatest satisfaction? What do you pick up quickly and what brings you the greatest satisfaction? It's probably one of your talents. So could be anything, guys. It could be fixing problems, analyzing data, organizing things, creating roadmaps, leading teams, swimming, running. What do you pick up quickly and what brings you a lot of satisfaction? The second part of the question is, which one of your talents or natural gifts help you to manage your life in its current state? So going through a lot, what do you got inside that's naturally yours? What are your natural gifts? Thank goodness I'm so adaptable. It helps me manage through this. Thank goodness I'm resilient. Carrying the day for me. Thank goodness I'm strategic. I pick and choose what I want to do. Okay, so what activities do you pick up quickly? And what talent are you using right now to help you manage through what we're going through? Let me take a share. Barbara, any contribution?
I'll go.
Okay, Barbara goes next.
Okay.
Ready, Carrie? Who's going?
Hi, it's Kim.
Okay.
I would say laughter and resilience.
Laughter and resilience. Are those your talents that carry you through today?
Today and for many of the past days, yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Laughter and resilience. Beautiful. Beautiful. What activities do you pick up quickly?
Socializing, I'm a people person, being creative, art, music.
Kim, not everybody's like that. So you have a calling to bring that forward for the rest of us. Okay? The rest of us need your uniqueness. Okay? So don't hold back on it. Don't hold back on us. Lovely. Lovely. Viviana,
Yeah.
my apologies. Viviana.
So for me, it's being creative. My school just had a wellness week, and so it forced me to do something that I've been wanting to do and been putting off. So I kind of found my new calling of being creative and doing DIY projects, and I now love it, and I want to keep doing it.
Love it. Love it. How can you apply creativity in every aspect of your life?
Um,
I'll challenge you. Apply it everywhere.
Yeah.
We need it today. We need that creativity. Okay, keep asking how you can call it forward. Beautiful, beautiful. And let me go back to Barbara. Can you share with us?
I think for me, there's always an answer to my problem or whatever's challenging me. I might not like the answer, but I go through it.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, you have stick-to-itiveness. I hear that in you. Beautiful. Okay, let's keep going. Our fourth and final personal practice is to be in service and in gratitude to others. Your heart and soul are sources of INNERTelligence. When you lead from the heart, asking nothing in return, you will be gifted with immeasurable joy. The one thing I know, ladies, is if you're ever having a pity party, feeling a little sorry for yourself, kind of arms crossed, why me? The very best question you can ask yourself is, how can I serve? How can I serve? So ask yourself that question and ask those around you. How can I serve you? How can I be in service to you today? Because when you're in service, you cannot simultaneously be having a pity party. So ask that question, how can I serve? And your challenge today is, what I'd like to know is, what would you like to contribute to the world? That's a huge question, but it can be a really simple answer. It could be a one-word answer. I'm going to contribute love to this world. I'm going to contribute inclusiveness. I'm going to contribute equanimity. What would you like to contribute to this world? Keep it simple. And your second question is, what are you grateful for? One thing, what are you grateful for? in this VUCA world with so much madness, so much craziness, wild ranging emotions. What are you grateful for? So let's come off and take a couple shares on this. Who wants to tell me what they would like to contribute to the world? How can you be in service? Megan, yes.
So empathy is the first word that came to mind. Empathy and compassion. I think the world needs more of that. And that's been hurting me because I'm an empath. This has all been, I think, harder because I'm internalizing everything that's happening to everyone else. So I'm really trying to recognize when I do that and not. And not to not be empathetic, but to not let it affect me, not to let it affect my body, as you were saying. Yeah.
So Megan, keep that white light around you. It's an energetic white light, right? You can be there, you can be present, you can be an amazing listener. You can feel, but you don't have to take it on. So it's a great discipline for you to practice. Great discipline. And what are you grateful for?
Well, I wrote two things down. My friends, I had a birthday on Sunday, and I had a COVID aside, I had a lovely birthday weekend because of my friends. Yeah, and then my ability, I'm okay being alone. And so that for me going into all this, I think has given me a slight, advantage is not the right word, but for lack of a better word, because I'm already used to being alone. It's not awesome to be alone all the time, but I think it's been easier for me that I might be on some other people who are not as comfortable.
Yeah, that's a gift. That's a gift. Appreciating your empathy. I like that. One last share. What do you want to contribute to the world? What are you grateful for? Okay. Yes.
I would like to contribute kindness. So to feel like I'm kind to everyone I meet and, respectful and just being really genuinely kind.
Yes. Yes. So be it, Kim. So be it. You don't even have to
I already am, girl.
Yes. I'm not that I contribute kindness. I contribute kindness. You. Beautiful. Beautiful. And what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for my family and my friends and all my personal connections.
So amazing. So amazing. So all of you have things that you're grateful for, put them in the chat, share with each other, share what you're here and how you can serve. And I will wrap by just recapping our 4 personal practices. The one, think about what you think about so you can start to think differently. That's the beginning of managing your mind. Put your attention on your body and respond to the message it sends you right away, right away. Activate your natural talents to do more of what you do best. That's the pathway to ease and satisfaction. And let service to others be your contribution to the world. So thank you so much for being participatory, engaged, great listeners. I have had a lot of fun with all of you today. And I will say that if anybody is interested in strengths coaching or team training or anything like that, please reach out. All the MPI folks get 15% off of my pricing for the next 60 days. So it's a perfect time to do it. And I would be happy to support any of you, especially as we're in this, VUCA crazy world. So thank you to everyone and lots of blessings to all of you.
Wonderful.
Thank you. It was awesome.
Thank
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you.
What a resounding presentation, and I think it gave everyone plenty to think about and to consider. I know I've got some homework of things to work on, and so we really appreciate you taking the time to share with us today your expertise and your joy and spirit in this presentation. Thank you everyone for sharing and participating and for joining us this afternoon. As a reminder, you will be getting a link to the survey in your email, so keep an eye on your inbox as well. And we take these surveys very seriously so we can continue to produce great content. And if you have any ideas or things that you want to hear more about, please, add that to the survey. With that, I again just want to wish everyone a wonderful and safe afternoon, and as you head off into the rest of your week. And thank you again for joining us today. Everybody have a great afternoon.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.